Hello, here is a quick video about the 2025 Q4 Tesla earnings call. What was yesterday? So kind of a sad news, no more S or X anymore after summertime. So if you want to buy those cars, you need to buy them now. I just looked up on the FSD Hunter app and you can find really good ones, low mileage, like 40,000 miles for like $60,000. Kind of a good deal, I think, with full self driving and AI4. They said they're gonna support these cars until they keep running on the roads. I think altogether they sold like 700,000 of them combined. So kind of high number. And for me, the saddest thing, like I was always thinking, like all the other car manufacturers, they're gonna do like a competition, a competitor for these cars. But it seems like they canceled these two cars before the competition showed up. In the same time, in the Fremont factory, they're gonna do robots, humanoid robots, Optimus 3. And I think Optimus will be a big one. They keep talking about it's like hard to say like it's a robot, and I can totally see that. Like I got this theory when Elon was showing off what the robot will do, and a human was inside that suit in the first video. I think they're gonna do something really similar, and we will think, oh, again, somebody in the suit, but this time it's gonna be the robot. I think it's gonna be so convincing. I think this time it's gonna be that good. As Elon said, he thinks they need three major things. They need the hand, the production capability basically, and the software, and they got all three of these pillars. So I think this is a good thing for Tesla on the long run. Also, if they would focus on how much money they were earning with the Model S and the X, and how much they're gonna earn with the humanoid robot with Optimus, I think that would be a better idea. Also, they said they're gonna invest a lot of money this year, 20 billion. They're gonna invest. This is like a future investment, so I'm happy about it. And also they were thinking about like maybe they're gonna take some loans or more debt basically somehow. Yeah, they're gonna need a lot of money, I think, in the near future, because they got huge plans. They said they're gonna ramp up the solar production as well, and of course in the next few years they see they're gonna have a problem with the chips. So they just keep thinking about the Tesla Terafab, the chip factory. I think in the same time they're trying to convince Samsung and TSMC, and I think Hynix was the next one, to produce more. So maybe they don't need to do that, but as Elon said, they should try, and I agree, they should try, because maybe it's going to be necessary. Also, he said that the Intel mantra, like only the paranoid survives. I completely agree with that. I think they need to integrate everything, vertically integrate everything, and they need to produce everything here in the US. As they said, they're already integrating more and more things. Like they got the lithium refinery. I think they're really good with the 4680. The FSD is really good. Back to the FSD. It seems like now they're gonna share like how many people are subscribing, and right now they are 1.1 million all over the world, and out from the 1.1, 700,000 of them, they bought the software outright. They're gonna cancel the transferability at the end of this quarter. I really don't like that. At least they should give like a backdoor. Like that's the main reason I'm not buying it, because if somebody re-renting my car, totaling my car, I cannot justify that $8,000 anymore. And because I'm on the road all the time with this car as well, with the other car, soon I'm gonna be the same, then I just cannot justify $8,000. I'd rather gonna pay the monthly. I think, by the way, the monthly, as soon as it's gonna be unsupervised, I think it's gonna be $100 a week. But still, it will work for me in that way if I need it, rather than just buying it outright. I think it's just too risky, way too risky. Also, they had some questions about the unsupervised, but they had like a weird answer. They said like they have the unsupervised in the robotaxi, and they're just having more and more of these cars. But obviously, people were interested about when we can have unsupervised, and I think that's farther away than they were thinking. That's why they were not giving a straight answer. They said last year, by the end of the last year, they're gonna have like 6 cities or more joining the robotaxi network, and now they said they're gonna have these 6 cities. They listed Orlando, thankfully, by the end of this year. So there's a big delay, and of course it can be delayed even more. We will see as they're gonna collect more data. So that's a big question mark. But for me, the biggest thing, I think they should really clarify like what they're planning to do with the full self-driving, because they keep sending out emails. I just received the second email today about FSD and if I should buy FSD or not. And I think it's the only way they could, I could justify this $8,000 if they would tell me like, okay, don't transfer from end of March, but if your car gets totaled, then you're gonna get a free transfer, or even like they can even ask for like $1,000 for the transfer. Okay, that would be a good business. I think a lot of people would do that, but I think they should clarify that, because there's a really big question mark. Seemingly they want people to buy this because they just keep sending out the emails, but at the same time they're not clarifying anything. That's like the lack of communication. One more thing about the robotaxi network and the whole thing. Lars said like this is not like a coincidence. Like they have a lot of service centers. They're building out new ones. They got the charging network, and they were just not just happen to have these things, but actually they were planning for this. And I completely agree. They were planning this for a long time. As they're canceling the S and the X, we're gonna have only Cybertruck, the Y and the 3, and soon we're gonna have the Cyber Cab. And Farzad seemingly not right, because Elon said it will be no controls in the car, as we've been told before many times. So I think Farzad is wrong, and we're gonna have these cars. I think the reason why Farzad is wrong, because he thinks this ramp will be super quick, but I think the ramp for the Cybercab will be the slowest ramp ever. I think they're only gonna do a few hundred cars this year, maybe 1,000 if you're lucky, and then they're gonna have a few thousand next year, and only the year after, 2028, we're gonna have like tens of thousands. So it's gonna be a super slow ramp, I think. Also, they said people were asking about different models, and Elon said in a funny way, like, of course they showed us already some new things. It's not like secret. They showed the RoboVan. Obviously, he was thinking about the RoboVan, but also they said, I think it was Lars who said, like they always planning all these production lines like being flexible. That's why they were producing the S and the X on the same line, and that's why they're producing the Y, different versions of the Y, including the long version, including the performance, including the new standard version. They all produced on the same line again. And they said, and I think this is a big sign, I hope this is a big sign for the Cyber SUV, because they said they designed the Cybertruck line in the same way, in the same flexible way. So I really hope, as they're canceling S and X, they're gonna introduce the Cyber SUV probably the first half of this year, hopefully, and that will be a normal car with steering wheel and pedals, same as a Cybertruck. By the way, they said that vehicle right now is the most easily transferable car to a full self-driving car, which means everything is like drive-by-wire. Yeah, the whole thing is a drive-by-wire. So the steering wheel can be detached, the pedals can be detached, and that's it. And also they said, and I completely agree with this, in the robotaxi future, to be a huge demand for commercial vehicles where you need to transfer something. But in the same time, I also think if they're gonna add the Cybertruck to the robotaxi network, that's gonna be really popular, I would choose Cybertruck all the time. Let's say 25% more than a Model Y. I would choose the Cybertruck all the time because you get a bulletproof truck, like a huge badass truck, the safest thing ever. I would choose that one instead of the Model Y. I know the Model Y is also safe, probably the Model Y is even a little bit safer, but it's not bulletproof. So here you go. I would choose the bulletproof one rather than the Model Y. So yeah. Also, they said they invested $2 billion in XAI, which is a really good sign. I think later on they're gonna invest even more. They said they were already using Grok in the car, and they said Grok gonna be used also as a kind of a supervisor for workers, basically, when they're gonna build new factories. Or also they said when they're gonna have like tens of thousands of cars, no human will be able to see through the whole operation. So maybe Grok gonna operate the whole robotaxi network, which is also a good sign. One of the big confirmation was on this earning call. Elon said owners will be able to earn more money when they're sending out their cars into the robotaxi network than their lease payment. So basically, as he said, we're gonna get paid to own Teslas. Yeah, they just keep adding more and more cars to the network, they said, and in Austin they're gonna give even more cars, like unsupervised cars and no chase cars anymore. They just want to be really safe, and that's why they're gonna just go as slow as humanly possible, just to be safe. Also, some people are kind of surprised by they're gonna build Optimus 3 in California, and Elon immediately said Optimus 4 will be built in Texas. So that's also an additional information. Yeah, I think I wanted to say at the end, Intel's mantra, only the paranoid survives.